Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and what we're going to be doing in today's video is actually showing you guys the best custom classes that I've come across in Black Ops 3 thus far. I am non-prestige, level 55, I am now ready to enter first prestige, so before I do that, I would like to show you guys all of the classes that I've used throughout the entirety of my non-prestige, right? These are the classes I feel so are the best, these are the ones that I had the most success with, and they can kind of cover like a wide variety of game modes and play styles, and hopefully you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. But of course, let me know in the comment section below, what classes do you guys personally like to run? Like, what are some of your favorite weapons? How do you like to run those weapons? Let us know about that in the comments, as we can kind of like swap different ideas for custom classes and whatnot, and kind of basically turn the comments of this video into kind of like a community forum where people discuss their favorite classes and different aspects of Black Ops 3. I think that would definitely be pretty awesome. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's hop here to the main menu where I have the Reaper, who is by far my favorite specialist. And just to cover this really quickly, I actually have like every single thing unlocked with the exception of like the last head and the last body piece for the Reaper. He is by far my favorite. I love using him. If you guys are looking for a specialist, I would recommend it would definitely be this guy. It'd be the Reaper. Although I will admit a close second would be the Purifier's flamethrower here for Firebreak. Oh my gosh, you guys, that flamethrower is so much fun. But yeah, the Reaper was my favorite specialist during the beta, and that's definitely carried over here into the full release of the game. But here are my classes. We have 5 classes I'm going to be discussing here, as well as an extra bonus class that I'm going to be discussing towards the end of the video. So hopefully you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy that as we discuss this KN44 class, which was actually built with the game modes Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, Search and Destroy, and Free For All in mind. The point of this class is it's kind of like a jack of all trades kind of a class. It's also good for, you know, sitting back and smelling the roses and kind of being very aware of your surroundings. So we're going to be using the KN44, which is one of the best rifles in the game in my opinion. It's got a crazy high fire rate. Like, its fire rate can compete with some submachine guns, but to kind of compensate that, they give it a pretty good amount of recoil. And to kind of mitigate that recoil, we are going to be using the foregrip, right? Grip is definitely a very beneficial attachment on this particular weapon. Like, if you use the KN44 without grip and you're like, wow, this gun kicks a ton, then you put on the foregrip, it's like, oh, well, I guess it doesn't kick that much anymore. You can just kind of dominate people with your crazy high fire rate. And speaking of that, we're going to be using quick draw, which is going to basically make this thing feel a bit more like a submachine gun. It's I would compare this particular rifle to like the AK-74U submachine gun from Call of Duty 4 and Black Ops 1. It's just one of those weapons. It's very, very good. Having quick draw, which you guys will be noticing, I recommend using quick draw on every single assault rifle in Black Ops 3 because I feel as though it's just super beneficial. A game like Black Ops 3 where people are like moving around so quickly, and if you just think of like most of your engagements on Black Ops 3, a lot of them are at like close to a medium range. Very rarely are they super far away from you, and so as a result, having quick draw on assault rifles definitely can help you out. It's definitely very beneficial. In terms of a secondary, I am using the XM53. Now, this is all personal preference, and I will say that secondaries in Black Ops 3 are not mandatory, and they're definitely subjective. So I personally am running the XM53 because I'm actually getting pretty close to the gold camo. I just need to blow up some people directly, as well as destroy 5 more Guardians, Hardened Sentries, and Power Cells with it. Then I'll unlock the gold camo. I've been using it throughout the entirety of my non-prestige just because I like shooting down UAVs, I like shooting down air support, I like helping out my team in that respect. But if you're looking for like an actual secondary, like a pistol to use, I recommend the MR6. I don't have a ton of kills with it, but I used it a lot during the beta, and I've used it a little bit here in the multiplayer so far, and it's ridiculously good. Super high damage, like a 20-round magazine by default. Like, typically you'll be seeing people using the MR6, and that's because it's a very good secondary. But I will say that secondaries are complete personal preference. For me personally, I like to run this rocket launcher because, not to blow up people necessarily, but I like to shoot down air support and help out my team in that respect. And I'm getting pretty close to gold camos, that's also a thing. I have frag grenades, which are ridiculously good. If you guys are not running frag grenades, I feel as though with like the whole pick 10 system, people are like, yeah, I'll just get rid of the frag grenade, I'll get rid of the secondary, you know, and just get more perks and more attachments and whatnot. But guys, do not overlook the frag grenade this game. Do not overlook it. It is so ridiculously good. I started using it in the beta, and now it's transitioned over here into the live version of the game. It is so good. It's like taking a typical frag grenade from other Call of Duty games and then like playing Danger Close like built in. Like, these things are ridiculously powerful. They clear out rooms, they clear out objectives. They are so good, and I wish more people would run them. I really would, because I've lost so many domination flags where it's like, why did someone just drop a nade there? It would just take them out so easy, you know. And yeah, definitely recommend frag grenades on just about every single class. In terms of perks, we got Flak Jacket because I love the comfort of Flak Jacket. I love knowing that if I were to walk into a room and there's a trip mine there, it's not going to kill me. If somebody's running the grenade launcher specialist, it's typically not going to kill me. If someone's throwing grenades at me into the building I'm in, or if I'm taking a flag, I don't have to worry about somebody throwing a grenade and killing me. I know I have the comfort of knowing that I am not going to die to explosives. That's why I love Flak Jacket. It's one of the best perks in the game. There are a good number of perks that you can choose from in perk 1. Blind Eye is obviously very good. Ghost is obviously very good. Overclock can be very good depending on the specialist you're using. Sixth Sense is kind of situational, and actually I haven't found too many situations where Afterburner is that beneficial. Maybe in certain game modes, like if you're like running the objective on uplink or something like that, maybe then it'd be nice to have kind of like a faster recharge rate on your thrusters. But for the most part, Flak Jacket's like my default go-to perk 1. It's so ridiculously good. We have Fast Hands here, which is going to kind of work well with Quick Draw because, again, you're using this thing almost as like a assault rifle slash submachine gun, and having Quick Draw on here, or having Fast Hands on here is going to allow you to aim down sights faster after sprinting. So if you turn a corner and someone tries to catch you as you're running out of the corner, you can quickly pull up your sights and try and take them out with your crazy high fire rate. And in perk 3, we have Dead Silence and Awareness, which is an old school kind of a combination. It's been a very popular combination over the past couple years in Call of Duty, and for good reason. It's a good combo. It's a very lethal combo, and especially in game modes like Search and Destroy, it's very good to run something like this. Free for All, it's very good to run something like this. Team Deathmatch and Kill Confirm to a lesser extent. That's the whole point of this particular class, is kind of like being able to hear people, like not hearing my own footsteps, hearing other people's footsteps, and just having a very good submachine gun slash assault rifle. This is a very good class for a wide variety of game modes, and that's why I recommend you guys trying it out. The next class I'm going to be calling Scar is going to be featuring the Man of War, which actually reminds me a lot of the Scar H from previous Call of Duty games. So what the Man of War is a super high damage, low fire rate assault rifle, and therefore it's very good for sticking back, finding yourself a little bit of cover and just picking people across the map with this very high damage full auto assault rifle. So we're going to be using the Man of War. We're going to be using a reflex sight, which I admit the Man of War's iron sights are actually very good. They're pretty similar to like ACR iron sights from Modern Warfare 3, but I still recommend using a reflex sight because the majority of your kills with the Man of War are going to be medium to long range, and having that increased precision from the reflex sight is definitely beneficial. Quick Draw, because I recommend it on every single assault rifle. It just helps you out so much, as well as high caliber. So you already take like a super high damage assault rifle like the Man of War, and then you make it so if you accidentally pop them in the head once or twice, you're just going to melt them. You are going to melt people if you have high caliber on this thing. It's definitely very beneficial. I have, of course, the XM53 is my secondary of choice. Feel free to swap that out for wherever you would like to. Frag grenades, because I recommend them on every single class. And then in terms of perks, very basic objective style perks. I have Flak Jacket, I have Tactical Mask, and I have Fast Hands. These are just the perks I typically default to when I'm playing objective game mode like Domination or Hardpoint. And yeah, I feel so overall this is one of my favorite classes in the game because the Man of War feels a lot like the Scar, and therefore you are just picking off people across the map. It is so much fun to use, guys, and I definitely would recommend it. The next class we're going to be looking at is going to be called New West, because you're essentially taking an Old West weapon, like an old lever action shotgun, and then making it kind of like modern and futuristic with the fact that it's in Black Ops 3 here, and they've actually made a number of changes to it. So we're going to be using the Argus shotgun, which I made a video actually talking about this particular weapon. It's amazing because it's essentially two different kinds of shotguns in one. You have a buckshot round being shot if you're hip firing, and you have a slug round being shot if you're aiming down sights. It's ridiculously unique and ridiculously fun to use. I actually have it up to max level, and as you guys can see, I actually have gold camo for it, so I've actually been using this shotgun quite a bit. The attachments I recommend for it are going to be Quick Draw, because you actually do aim down sights a lot with this shotgun, because you're going to want to benefit yourself with the ability to take out people with your slug round, which is similar to like the KSG from Black Ops 2. You're going to have that slug round while aiming down sights, and so as a result, you actually are going to be ADSing with this thing a lot. Typically, when you think of most pump action style shotguns, which this is a lever action shotgun, but in terms of Call of Duty, they perform pretty much the same. You shoot, and you have to like cock out your shell, then you shoot again. Typically, using shotguns like that, you're not going to want to use Quick Draw because you're going to hip fire a lot of the time, but this particular shotgun, you do want to ADS a lot, and therefore I recommend Quick Draw. And of course, Long Barrel, just because Long Barrel is amazing on all shotguns. I don't think I need to go into too much detail. The big downside with a shotgun is you typically have bad range. Long Barrel gives you more range. It's amazing. And the rest of the attachments here, a lot of people thought Rapid Fire would be very good for like the KRM and for the Argus, but it's a very marginal increase, guys. Rapid Fire is not that amazing on these shotguns. I'll say from experience, it's not that great. I have experimented with it, and it isn't that great. Laser sight, the hip fire on the Argus, like the hip fire spread's already very tight, and having laser sight on there almost seems too tight. It seems as though you're basically ADSing at that point using a slug while hip firing with buckshot. It's just not that great. Fast mags, you don't need to reload this gun faster. It reloads ridiculously quickly, and it reloads 10 rounds at a time. It's amazing. Extended mag, you have a 10-round magazine. You don't need a bigger magazine. Adjustable stock could be beneficial, I suppose. Suppressor, obviously not, because it's a silencer on a shotgun. It's going to reduce your range. Weapon already has very minimal range. So, yeah, these are really the only two attachments I recommend, quick draw and the long barrel. And again, I have used the weapon a bunch. I have it up to gold camo. I've just been using it a bunch. And, of course, I recommend using a frag grenade. I do recommend using flak jacket and ghost, because flak jacket, again, is one of my favorite perks in the history of Call of Duty. I love it. And ghost is amazing while using a shotgun, because how ghost works in this game is you don't just have like a universal cloak from UAVs. You're only hidden from UAVs while you're moving, and with a shotgun, you're constantly moving. Nobody camps with a shotgun. You're constantly, running towards people. You're constantly, dabbing on objectives, storming buildings, and playing very aggressively. And so as a result, we're going to be using two perk 3s here. Gung Ho, which is amazing for shotguns. I'll talk about that here in a moment, as well as Tac Mask, which is, Tac Mask is one of the essential objective playing perks. Like Flak Jacket and Tac Mask for objective style game modes is fantastic. I recommend Gung Ho on every shotgun. It's amazing. It allows you to slide and shoot people while using your shotgun, which is freaking amazing. It's so hard to deal with. It also allows you to hip fire while sprinting, so you don't even have to like sprint and then stop and then pull up your gun and then hip fire. You can just hip fire and run simultaneously. It's amazing, and it's definitely one of the best things about shotguns is using this Gung Ho perk, so I definitely recommend that. One thing I could recommend, perhaps you're not playing an objective game mode, perhaps you're playing like Team Deathmatch, Coca Firm, something like that, where you're not going to be facing a lot of flashbangs or concussions. What you could do is actually get rid of Tac Mask. You could get rid of your perk 3 greed. Then you could put on a secondary here, like the MR6, or you could put on the XM53 rocket launcher, which I personally prefer. You could put on that stuff as well, and then add yourself like a perk 2. You could add yourself like, for example, and yup, if you want to get your kill streaks a little bit faster. I will say Fast Hands is actually pretty good on this class as well. So these are basically two different variations of the Argus class I could recommend to you guys. Is this one where you're going to be using an actual secondary, and you're actually going to be having Fast Hands on there, or you can get rid of both of them and then just add in perk 3 greed, which will allow you to basically have tactical mask along with flak jacket as well. So these are the two different variations of this class I recommend, but overall the Argus is my favorite shotgun in the game, although I will admit it still feels as though it's kind of weak. Like, it doesn't feel up to snuff with some of like Black Ops 2 shotguns, so I'm hoping and I'm kind of predicting that they're going to be giving this weapon a buff in the future, so stay tuned for that. The next class we're going to be looking at today is going to be called Sneaky, and the reason why it's called Sneaky because it's not even really a stealth class, but I am using a suppressor. It's the only class I actually recommend using a suppressor on, because typically I don't use suppressors while playing Call of Duty. It's just something about me. I don't typically use them. I know a lot of people love using silencers. I'm just not one of those people. I don't use it too much, but I do use it here on the ICR, which is one of my favorite weapons in Black Ops 3. I freaking love the ICR. I feel so a lot of people kind of put it off because we're like, okay, so it's not one of the guns you unlock immediately. It's not one of the guns you unlock later. It's kind of middle of the road, and people maybe forget it at that point. But guys, the ICR, don't overlook this rifle. It's very similar, if you guys want a comparison, to like an M4A1 from like previous Call of Duty games, or an M4 carbine, however you want to call it, right? It's a very good overall rifle, and the attachments I recommend for it are going to be the quick draw, the adjustable stock, and of course the suppressor here. So I love quick draw and stock because it's just very beneficial on most assault rifles if you're going to be kind of like having a mobile playstyle with an assault rifle, and I use this thing as a very mobile assault rifle, while at the same time it has some of the best iron sights in the history of Call of Duty, which allow me to take people out in medium with long ranges as well. I have had a ton of success with this weapon, and so much so that I actually recommend using Scavenger. I'm actually recommending Scavenger in the class because I run out of ammo with this thing a lot. It doesn't even have a high fire rate. It just basically does decent damage with very little recoil, right? It's basically kind of like an ACR in a way, right? And as a result, I end up staying alive for a very long time, and I end up running out of ammo a lot, so I actually use Scavenger on this particular class, along with the old tried and true flak jacket and tac mask combination, with of course my frag grenade and my XM53 secondary. So that's my Sneaky class. This is one of the classes I have the most success with, and I definitely recommend it, guys. If you haven't tried out the ICR one, use it. I know the ICR is one of the default classes here in Black Ops 3, but that default class is not very good. Try out this class. I'm telling you guys will love it. The ICR is fantastic. The next class we're going to be looking at today is going to be called Burst Rifle because you guessed it, we're going to be using a Burst Rifle. We're going to be using the XR2, which is my preferred burst weapon in Black Ops 3, and it's kind of a unique weapon. It's a 3-round burst rifle, which is not unique to Call of Duty. We've seen that a number of times, the M16s of the world. We've seen it with the Type 95. We've seen it with the SWAT 5.56s, right? But what is unique about it is it's an auto burst rifle. So it's going to essentially hold down the trigger once, and it's going to just continuously fire bursts until you let go of the trigger, similar to a full auto rifle. Whereas in older Call of Duties, if you used a burst rifle, you would have to pull out the trigger once every time you wanted to actually burst it. Well, with this, you can hold down the trigger once, and it will automatically shoot your bursts. It's a new mechanic to Call of Duty. It's actually one that it shares with the Pharaoh submachine gun down here. But yeah, it's a pretty cool mechanic. I don't utilize it a ton. I basically use this as if it were just a normal burst rifle, and I have a lot of success with it. So I recommend using a reflex sight. The XR2 has good iron sights, I admit that, but typically if you're using a burst rifle, a lot of your engagements are going to be medium to long range, right? You're going to be putting a lot of distance between you and your opponents, and as a result, at that range, it's definitely pretty nice to have a reflex sight and the extra precision that it can give you. I have quick draw on here along with stock. Now this is actually a tried and true way to run your burst rifles. If you remember back to the M8A1 of Black Ops 2, a lot of people would run quick draw and stock in that game. The exact same reason here in Black Ops 3. It's amazing. There's something about having quick draw and stock where you're constantly aiming down sights and strafing and just picking people off at medium ranges that is just so satisfying and so fun to do, and it works out very well here with the XR2 as well as the M8A7. But I prefer the XR2 personally, but if you guys are fans of the M8A7, I would run a very similar class with this, with the reflex sight, the quick draw, and the stock. In terms of perks, we actually are going to be using Flak Jacket and Tac Mask, because seriously guys, I recommend Flak Jacket and Tac Mask on just about everything. It's amazing. But also, we're going to be using Fast Hands, which is going to help you out if somebody catches you while you're not aiming down sights, which typically you are going to be aiming down sights with this class, but if they catch you while you're not aiming down sights, this is going to help you pull up your sights even faster, along with the help of quick draw, as well as we're going to be using anti-up, because this class I found myself getting a ton of score streaks with. For whatever reason, maybe it's because it's a burst rifle, I'm typically picking people off at ranges, I'm keeping a good distance between myself and them. I found myself getting a lot of score streaks with this class, and as a result, I put on anti-up, which is a new perk to Call of Duty. It's performs kind of similar to Hardline, but with a bit of a different mechanic. It is going to spawn you in with a bonus to your score streak meter, so basically it's going to make it so it's easier to get to your score streaks, but at the same time it's not reducing your score streaks, it's just giving you a buff at the very beginning. It's the same idea as Hardline, but it's a bit different, and as a result, it can definitely help you get a lot of your score streaks pretty quickly. And yes, that's going to be the burst rifle class I recommend. A lot of people ask me about score streaks and how I like to run my score streaks, and I've actually changed them out a number of times throughout my prestige. I did try going for race and stuff like that. I like the talent a bit, but it just doesn't seem to do enough work for me. The Hardened Sentry is a pretty fun one, but it just isn't that great. But typically what I run, if you guys especially have been following my channel for a number of years now, UAV, counter UAV, and the Hater, which is pretty similar to UAV, counter UAV, VSAT from Black Ops 2, or UAV, counter UAV, and Blackbird from Black Ops 1. Just these are the kill streaks I like to run. I like to put up air support that basically makes the opposing team show up on our minimap. I like that instead of running lethal score streaks, although there are a number of good lethal score streaks here in Black Ops 3. So what I ran, up until I end up unlocking these, because you unlock the counter UAV, I believe in the level 20s, somewhere in there, and I think level 48 is when you get the Hater. So up until that point, I was using the Lightning Strike and the Hellstorm. Hellstorm is one of the ones you get by default, but I found myself really not liking the Hellstorm very much in this game. They changed it a lot since Black Ops 2. It doesn't seem to do as much work, and so as a result, I swapped out for the counter UAV once I unlocked it, and I was running UAV, counter UAV, and Lightning Strike. Then once I unlocked the Hater, I ran that. This is because these are the kill streaks I like to run. But if you're looking to get a lot of kills, you can typically run UAV, Lightning Strike, and Hellstorm. They're generally very low kill streaks. They're pretty easy to get, and they can put in some good work for you. But yeah, definitely I recommend UAV, counter UAV, and Hater, just because, the Hater is sometimes hard to get, but UAVs and counter UAVs, those things are amazing. They definitely help out your team a whole bunch. And the final class, which I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, I only have 5 spots for classes, and so I had to make an extra class. I did it in custom games, which we'll back out the custom games here. I had to put it in here because I ended up prestiging my CUDA in public match, and so as a result, I don't have all the attachments unlocked for it, so I couldn't actually show you guys the attachments I like to run on the CUDA class. So the CUDA, which is my #1 weapon actually in Black Ops 3 thus far, I like to run the foregrip foregrip, which this gun does kick a lot. It really does. And the foregrip helps out with that. It still kicks at like medium ranges, like medium to long ranges. You can't snipe with this thing. It doesn't turn the Cuda into a sniper or anything like that. But the grip definitely helps out a bit. I like laser sight because I hip fire a lot with SMGs. And long barrel. Now, long barrel is one of the last attachments that you can actually unlock for the Cuda, so it takes a long time to actually get it. But long barrel makes the Cuda so much better, in my opinion. I love it. So good. So these are the attachments I run. The most success I had with the Cuda was while running these attachments. But again, it's my most used weapon in Black Ops 3 thus far, and therefore I have prestiged it, and therefore, you know, I don't have all the attachments, so I had to make the class in custom games to be able to show it to you guys. But in terms of perks, these are standard perks in my opinion. Flak jacket, tac mask, and fast hands, and I have my rocket launcher, and I have my frag grenade. So that's the Cuda class that I ran throughout the majority of my non-prestige. It's one of my favorite weapons, and those, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be my custom classes. Now, these are going to be, again, the classes that I have had the most success with. These are the classes that I end up running the most, and I tried out a number of weapons, a number of attachment and perk combinations, and just throughout my time in Black Ops 3 thus far, these are the classes that I believe to be the best ones, and these are the classes that I have had the most success with. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys all found it helpful and informative, and let me know in the comment section below what weapons are your favorites so far in Black Ops 3, and how do you run those weapons? Like, give us some tips in the comments. Like, what classes do you guys like to run? What classes are you guys having the most success with? I would love to see the comments of this video kind of turn into kind of like a forum where people discuss different ideas for creative classes, and I think that would be really cool to see what you guys like to run. So feel free to go ahead and do that. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys all found it helpful, informative, and entertaining. If you did, remember to leave a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.